Progress. Yeah, progress. It's not perfection by any stretch of the imagination. And there is no guarantee that it's going to lead to a significantly different performance on the field starting next year. That said, if you're a Washington Redskins fan, if nothing else, you have to feel like for at least one brief moment in time, after 20 years of largely running the organization into the ground, Daniel Snyder might finally be starting to figure things out. Now, let's not get too crazy here, perhaps, but there's progress. After years of allowing Bruce Allen to run amok and damage this organization significantly, the simple fact that the number one bane of the existence of so many Redskins fans, Bruce Allen, has been sent packing has to be a reason for celebration. And not sent packing from the football operations to the business operations. Daniel Snyder understood, apparently, finally, that Bruce Allen was a cancer that was eating up at his organization one day at a time. And that malignancy only grew more as time went along. So he understood that in order for progress to happen and in order for real substantive change to happen, can't sell the team. Well, he could, but he's not going to. He had to get rid of Bruce Allen. You can't keep him around because eventually he'll find a way to finagle his way back into the football operations, which he's already done once. He had to go. When you look at Bruce Allen from the aspect of the team that he constructed, they're trash. You look at the way he handled the Kirk Cousins contract saga for a couple of years, that was trash. You look at the stadium negotiations that are largely being botched, and you know if Bruce Allen's involved with them in any way, shape, or form, that's a significant reason for it. The fact of the matter remains is the Redskins needed seismic change. And that could only start with an earthquake, and that was getting rid of Bruce Allen. And I know Redskins fans have to be really, really happy, and they should be. Like, this was a move that was so obviously needed for the past few years, and the fact that somehow Bruce Allen was able to persist, he was able to stay on, he was able to be comfortable and firmly entrenched in his role and responsibilities, represented the single biggest significant problem for this Washington Redskins football organization. And now you can wash your hands of it and move on. And then you've moved on from Jay Gruden. You're moving on from Bill Callahan. The Redskins went out there and hired a competent, accomplished, proven NFL head coach in Ron Rivera. Riverboat Ron, who you bring into a situation in Washington somewhat similar to what you brought him into in the situation in Carolina. Little difference is you already have the young quarterback and Dwayne Haskins entrenched there, whereas when Riverboat Ron took over after the 2010 season, it was in the build-up to what eventually resulted in the Carolina Panthers taking Cam Newton #1 overall. But you look at this hire for the Washington Redskins. While sure, in theory, you would like to hire the general manager first and allow the general manager to hire the head coach, and you can't get everything you always want, and perhaps, reasonably so, there would have been a fear that if you left Riverboat Ron on the market for too long, somebody else may have swooped in and snatched him up. So Daniel Snyder found his guy. Be thankful, Redskins fans, it's not Marvin Lewis. Be thankful, Redskins fans, that it's somebody that's actually enjoyed success as an NFL head coach. He took the Panthers to, 4 different playoff appearances during his almost 9 seasons there. He led the team in 2015 in Carolina to a 15-1 record. Cam had his MVP season. They went to the Super Bowl. Like, this is a guy that actually has results. And you could say, well, he just got fired in Carolina and they weren't very good. Look, You can take the reality of that Carolina Panthers team really wasn't that good this year, and the fact that he had them with a winning record at any point in time was borderline remarkable as it is. But it just came to the point where for that Carolina Panthers organization, change needed to happen for all parties involved. Now you bring in a guy that is comfortable with and has experience with working with young, raw quarterback prospects, just like he did in Cam Newton in Carolina. Now he does the same with Dwayne Haskins here in Washington. You look at this guy and you look at some of the pieces that you have on defense. You're talking about you still have Ryan Kerrigan under contract for another year. You have this past year's first-round pick, or one of them, in Montez Sweat. You got a couple of edge rushers. You've got Ioannidis. You've got Jonathan Allen. You have some pieces on that defense, and specifically, if Ron Rivera is going to convert this team to a 4-3 defense, which I would fully expect, your defense is going to play a little bit more up to the level of talent that it has, not to mention the fact that you have the number 2 overall pick in this upcoming NFL draft, which very possibly could be used on Ohio State edge rusher Chase Young. Now you put him in that defense with a Kerrigan and with a Montez Sweat, a Jonathan Allen and Ioannidis, and all of a sudden you're starting to think to yourself, hey, 2 years down the road or so, could we be a 49ers type of team here out east, built off of a defensive front that can get after the quarterback in droves, a really, really good defense? You know, as crazy as it sounds, hey, stranger things have happened. Who the hell would have thought the 49ers would go from having the number 2 overall pick in the 2019 draft at 4-12 to all of a sudden they turn around and what do you know? They're sitting there and they're at freaking 13-3. Just saying. Just saying. So you look at this deal for the Redskins. They got rid of the malignancy in the organization in Bruce Allen. They've hired a competent, proven NFL head coach, a leader of men, a guy that has shown the ability to get a lot out of not so much, who has experience working with a young quarterback, a defensive-minded guy where you can bring him into the fold and have him work with some of the young talent that you have on defense. Like, this has to be a win-win for everyone involved with the Redskins type of situation. Like, for all the years that Daniel Snyder used to write the big checks and try to make the big splashy moves from overrated, overaged, high-priced free agents to now making sound, sensible football decisions. It's progress. It's positive progress. No, there's no guarantee of anything. I'll get you that. Ron Rivera could show up and be gone in 3 years, and he could be a mess all over again. That is very possible. That's very true. But that said, you have to look at the positive right now. And the positive is progress has been made. The general manager that was the malignancy of the organization is completely gone. You have upgraded at the head coach position with Ron Rivera. This is a big day, it feels like, in the history of the Washington Redskins organization. And Redskins fans should, at least for a brief moment in time, rejoice and relax and regroup and get ready for 2020.